Hello everyone, welcome to Smart Investing. So today's topic is going to be about talent and acquisition. The first thing that comes to mind is when you hire someone, uh, hiring talent acquisition, it's not something that you find easily. It's not like when you apply for a job, you know, typically they'll look at if you know where you got your degree, whatever, but they just don't know your work performance. They don't they don't know what your grades actually are, and they just don't know your work ethics and habits. So, when somebody, just because you went to a good school, it means that you have a good brain. Congratulations. I'm holding nothing against that. I applaud that. But that's only half the battle. When you enter the workforce, you have to implement those skills, your knowledge, and your efforts into your everyday practices when you head into the workforce. So, when it comes to talent acquisition, again, I did not go to an Ivy League school. Again, I'm not considered in the Wall Street world as an elite. Uh, I can only claim that because, you know, when I did not get an opportunity in New York City, it just wasn't for me, and it just wasn't in the cards. It didn't happen. It just wasn't meant for me to be successful over there. So when I moved to Florida, this dynamic changed completely, and slowly but surely, the opportunity was given to me and for me, and I decided to take that a step further when I came to Florida. So I just want to say this also. Uh, when it comes to talent, uh, you can't force decisions on somebody. You can't implement a system or somebody's DNA and say, um, this is what you need to be better at. This is what you need to. I mean, because when somebody works at a place, naturally we get evaluations. Well, I get performance reviews, whatever, and then you got to work on this, and performance improvement plans and whatever, and then there is no. See, when you work somewhere, your performance history is private and it stays with that company. It's like when you leave the company, they don't hand that to you. You can't use that as a review or a reference, good or bad. So it's like because there is this hierarchy, there might be a system where it's inaccurate because based on company, they might not want to pay you what you're worth, and they might want to look at indiscrepancies, just minor mishaps, for example, and then they just don't want to pay you as much as you should be getting. And so, where that can lead to dissatisfaction from the employee. And again, the that shouldn't take the review personally, because it's like that was only from one person. Just because somebody is above you in structure and hierarchy, you have a boss, doesn't mean it's always accurate. It only shows that uh, they're aligned to the company. That's for one thing. But how do you know who else is checking that? There's no third party to actually prove and say, hey, because honestly, there's always two sides to a story. You have one person, the employee, who might think they do really, really good, and then the manager might disagree. But again, it's the manager's word against yours. So again, there is no third party presence as to say, hey, this is your reputation, this is what you're good at, this is the performance you have, and these are your strengths and weaknesses and everything else in it. So again, when it comes to hiring and talent acquisition, uh, there needs to be an extra party there for reference, because when I say management has so much power over the employees that employees in general in the US as of right now, 2024, are dissatisfied uh, with the way things work or with management or support. There's always one major thing that's going on that they just don't want to discuss. That's the world we live in. People get fed up quick and they decide to quit their employer because they're just dissatisfied. Uh, there can be unfair play, favoritism, or, people kissing butt at work, and just um, things don't always seem as you think they are. I've seen companies where they announce certain cultures on their website, like, oh, we do this and this and this, and we're good. And then, we have, sorry about that we have good standards and good practices and the whole works. And then when you actually work for the employer, after reading all that, and you say, hey, this seems like a good culture, and then it's not what it seems to be. Things are not what they seem to be. So when it comes to hiring talent, companies need to realize what they're missing out on, because just because somebody might seem average, their performance might be exceeding expectations and far superior than what you thought out to be. So what I'm saying is, if there was some kind of third-party website to see individual reviews of what, an employee, or who an employee is and what they do based on other people's comments, then that would be awesome. LinkedIn is definitely a good tool to look at, but it's not the best tool. It needs to be more innovative. I don't use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a little bit too personal, and it only talks about you trying to get the job. It's not more focused individually as to, how your performance is, what you can do differently, what are strengths and weaknesses. It's not layered to say, in detail, to give an analysis, or, all the strings of data to evaluate you on a level that's very individual, because you have, your personal information for you to look for a job, but then, and then you have work history and whatever, you might state all that, but I would like to see a website where fellow peers or fellow employees are rating their own employees instead of managers, because it might not be fair game. And for the interest of fairness, what better way to do that than your peers? I think peers are going to be more honest than your actual manager. So aside from that, when it comes to talent acquisition, again, and another scale as well, I think employees should be able to grade their supervisor and their managers. That's how you can tell if you need a good manager or have a bad manager, or an actual person that cares about work and performance and everything in it thereof. So when it comes to the workforce, again, um, most times talent wants to be, molded into and, uh, grown into, but there's no better talent than actual talent, just natural, you know, sheer will and determination and uh, ambition and, you know, the whole works. I don't think there's nothing like that. I think that's why uh, I just have all those qualities. So, other than that, thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna cut it short. That's all I have. So again, you never know who you're gonna meet. You just have to have a history, and you need to um, fact check a person's work history, what they're about, what they did when they were born, and how they became a leader slowly, or have they been in leadership roles before, or you just need to determine if they are a good leader or not, based on their history, their personality, and their way of thinking, and their intelligence. Um, it's just a whole case study, basically, to find talent. So, again, people have their talents, people play sports and all that, but when it comes to pure intelligence, I will say that is the hardest talent to find. So uh, it's just a natural ability that people have. Um, I would say this. Um, I would start with reviewing lawyers and doctors when it comes to talent acquisition, because they are much smarter than me in their own respective field and practices. And again, they have a certain way of thinking as well, too. So that would be my starting point as to their leaders in their own field and respected in their practices. I would start there with the hardest professions in any kind of uh, workplace or in the workspace, in the workforce. I would start with you know that lawyers or doctors. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.